Hello dear viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Future Friday, we're going to talk about AI and mass unemployment. Now the storm has begun, so let's dive deep into it. So first thing you have to understand what we humans do in order to get quote unquote jobs. So we generally only have two vectors. You're not supposed to sell yourself. Basically, you're not supposed to like, okay, here's my kidney, give me money, or like, here's my blood and give me money. So putting those things aside, you generally are offered money for two things. So that two vector is either your body, simply because our body has great dexterity, meaning we can handle everything simply because everything is built by us, for us. So we have extreme dexterity, meaning we can handle different kind of tool, different kind of equipments in different environments. We got this. So that's a very good part. And again, it's convenient for us because things are built for us. And that's the first part. Now again, it has been very slowly chipped away. Basically, let's just say from 1950s, we're slowly being automating it away, and we have got to a point where it's like we have removed most of the requirements. Like, it's good to have, but it's no longer necessary or must to have. And then the second thing that we offer, that is the current IT era, so to say, is our minds, this puppy. So why this is important? Because this can do hyper complex tasks, meaning flying up basically commercial airlines is not a task of your muscles. Okay, it's not on like how strong I am. It's gonna fly, man. It's good, it got this. It's just that how good you are dealing with complex instruction, meaning how the weather is behaving, what is the takeoff rate, what is the speed, what is the temperature, what is the temperature of the fuel, how much fuel you have, what distance, all. So a lot of complex variable has to go that a pilot should be able to handle it. Can pilot do that? Absolutely. They're like, I got this. You don't even have to worry about it. So we are very good at that. We are very flexible, meaning of basically commercial pilot can actually switch and he might be able to do other things, maybe some sort of management, maybe he picks up a hobby and becomes good at that. So a lot of people can do a lot of amazing things because of this puppy. So these two things are what we offer to the world, either our body as a dexterity tool and our brain as complexity solving problem. So that's the whole point of it. If you are looking at a lawyer, why they're getting paid? They are using this puppy. If you are looking at a programmer, why they're getting paid? They are using this puppy. There's nothing more than that. So either you offer your body or you offer your brain. So that's the two things. Now, value can be added on top of that. Let that be very clear. But those will be classified as add-ons, not primary, meaning you are willing to pay, let's just say if a chef cooks your pizza, so to say, versus a random person cooks your, it could be exactly the same. Heck, it could be the teacher of the celebrity, but you will be like, you know what, that's more valuable to me, so you will willing to pay for that. That's add-on to it, but that's not majority of humanity. That can't be majority of humanity. So most of the humanity only offers two things and they get paid for these things. So let that be very clear. So either this or body, or most job requires bit of both. Now let's understand the AI deal here. Now we can, in principle, in modern technology, as in like let's say late 2010, so to say, we could automate 100% of things. Basically, if you wanted to make a factory, and if you're like, okay, if you're not smoking Elon Musk, if you want to make a car factory that is 100% automated, it can be done. Then why don't we do it? And why don't every car company do it? It's too expensive. It's not that it can't be done. It's just that too goddamn expensive. Like, that's why Elon Musk had such a bad fallout. He was like, yeah, we're gonna build it, and it's like, oh, humans are more flexible and all that. It's like, yeah, robots require everything to be sorted out before you start implementing them. Like Toyota does not just like go ta-da. They take their time, sweet time, years of time before they even put the first robot. So it can be done. Let that be very clear. Nothing in the laws of physics or engineering is stopping you. It's just everything in economics is saying, yeah, it's like, right now, 80-20 rule is classified as like, the sweet spot, whereas like you get the most basically recovery in case of a unexpected failure, and the most speed, where it's like it's not too slow. So that's the good part. Now, the reason why we can't go to 100% simply because thinking machines take their time. Basically, all these factories that you see, generally they are designed, how Monroe used to say very wisely, is like, imagine your stuff has to be made by a person who is blind, has one hand tied behind his back. Can he do it without making error? That's how robotics works. So you have to design the whole process, like, okay, where the sheet metal is coming from. Let's say sheet metal is coming from a roll. How you are putting it a punch. Okay, you punch it. Then how do you remove it from here? How do you make sure that no matter what happens, it always goes into the exact place for welding? How do you make sure the welding is exactly correct? All of that has to happen in such a way that there is no probability of error. Like, it just works. So now, why do we have basically humans in basically all these vehicle things? Most of the time, they are generally for wire harness. Wire harness are tedious. Now, can't we make a robotic hand that can do that? Oh, the robotic hand is the easy part. We can easily have an end effector that's like twink, and it rotates it and puts it. But here's the deal, how the heck it figures out how much to rotate? For that, you need a vision system. For that, you need an intelligence system that can detect, okay, that's how it is, or that's how I have to rotate it. Yeah, you would be shocked how expensive those things were in the past. Not anymore, but they were ludicrously expensive. So expensive that most modern factories don't have that. It's like, it can be done. It's just like, are we really saving that much? And many countries are wise enough. They're like, okay, if you have this many employees, we're going to give you this sort of credit. We're going to give you this sort of lubrication and all that jazz. So that's there. Now, let that be very clear. Fundamentally, what AI did is gave brain for cheap. Basically, that intelligence, I have to pick this, put it exactly here. That's the hard part. Robots are very awesome. It's like, tattoo, tattoo, tattoo. Basically, a blind man with one hand tied behind his back. We good. We got this. We have been doing that from late 70s. We good. It's just that, what if it had a little bit of brain? What if it had the robotics that are like, hey, there is a person here. Let me go around it. That little thing, let me go around it. It's spankingly complex. It's like, how the heck you program something like that without it creating another problem? And we did that. AI is like, I got you, fam. Like right now, there are robotics in actual warehouses where are people walking around, and AI is like, I got you, fam. I'm not gonna run over. So that happened because we gave brain for cheap. We solved the first problem, the cheap part. And what is the cross between these two things? Well, cross is when flexibility can be had with speed. Right now, you can make a robotics factory that is super efficient in making cars, but it would be like, okay, I'm making this model. I can make one model of car per minute. But what if you want a same factory to be able to produce multiple different models? It's like, we can do that right now, but it will be like one vehicle per hour. Because again, the more flexibility you will add, the slower the production will become. We want human to compensate for that. We no longer need to. As in, from 2020 onwards, we no longer actually have to. So if a brand new factory is being built and if people are sitting down and designing for it, not necessary anymore. So that happened. Let that be very clear. So if Amazon is building a warehouse tomorrow for tomorrow's application, they no longer have the same constraint as we used to do. So that's the big part. That's why all the small robotics that you are seeing, think in this way, robotics have become so smart and so cheap that they are coming downwards. Meaning you can have like, hey, Jerry Rig, everything is like, okay, he wants to make a, basically, what we call that, wheelchair. And he's like, okay, we need a robotics. It's like, why do I hire a person? It's like, okay, here's a robot. That thing in 1970 would have been like black magic. And he's like, take it and go. Take it and go. So AI happened. Let that be very clear. All that things that were holding us back has been solved as of now. So first shot, that's why I said like it's going to happen, but what will be the first indication? I always said that you will never have the scenario as like everybody had job and nobody had job. It will never not happen. First indication that this is happening is that companies will be able to handle twice the volume or like, larger amount of customers and clients without increasing the basically the workforce. For example, let's say it's a big software company and it's handling like so many clients. It's like GG amounts of clients. And it's like, hey, now you're handling far more clients. Your clientele has grown and it's awesome, GG. But your basically the people count is not grown, your head count is not going up. Yeah, AI is being utilized. So first shot is basically, you have to understand this, computer is horrifyingly good if you limit it. Meaning if you're like, you, the computer, only do this, they are horrifyingly good. How good? I'll want to give you an example. You'll Google PCA, emergency landing system from NASA. Now, in aircraft investigation, you must know that aircrafts have what we call autopilots. Now, there are a lot of subsystems also added to that. Now, there are black swan events. Now, worst black swan event is if your hydraulic goes kaput. It had happened recently during Russia-Ukraine war. One passenger jet got boomed by a basically surface-to-air missile, and that punctured basically tail section where you have all three hydraulic lines. If all three hydraulic got punctured, you got kaput. That's what we call black swan event. There is no tangible way of to control the engine. Somebody in NASA was like, hey, what if we can control it? Because there was an accident, something similar. First accident happened, complete loss of life. Second case, pilot did do something amazing. They figured out how to use vector thrust, as in like engine thrusting, to handle it. But you're like, wait, without a tail rotor and all, how would you do that? They could not. They were just oscillating. They did their best. They did a miracle. But it was like, okay, what if we can make this miracle a reality? So they developed the system, PCA system. Again, Air Force was like, hey, you want to use, because again, planes are expected to get boomed at. They're like, hey, wouldn't it be great if you have two working engines and you have hydraulic kaput, you can still land safely? It's like, okay, they started work on it. They made it. And by 2005, it was like, done, take it and go. Meaning at this point in time, if aviation industry wants to have a plane that can just like handle itself without hydraulic fluid, it can be done. It will land emergently. Like it won't be like, okay, let me fly to destination. No. It's like if hydraulic goes kaput, it's like, I'm going to land, but I'm going to do it safely. Happened. Again, computers are horrifyingly good if you lock them. Meaning, ChatGPT hallucinates and all that. Yeah, because you're asking everything. Lock it down. Compact it. It's like, okay, this is the constraint environment you have to deal with. They are horrifyingly good. So, and Amazon realized that. So first they started with these sort of robots, basically pegs that are just moving around, and they're good. They actually improved their 24 hour delivery services exponentially. They're like, okay, go, 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 go. And they're like, okay, how do we load these things up? So generally they had box coming from trucks. They are awesome. They had another robots is like, quing, quing. The robots did not have any sense of touch. They could not touch it. It was like, it's a box. I pull at the box, I took the box, and I'm using AI to vision do and all that. Not a good idea. So now Amazon is like, hey, what if we can touch the object? I'm like, why is that such a big deal? Well, here's the deal. If you are touching something like this, how much force you have to apply? It's completely different if you are handling something metal like this or something squishy like this. So how the heck we know that how to hold this? Well, my brain is getting signal from the touch sensors and it's like, I don't push too hard into it, or like, it will get kaput like this. So fundamentally, touch feedback loop is very critical. Robots don't have that. They're like, what if they could have that? They built that. And this is very scary, the fact that it did not take them that long. And given the fact that engineer working there is like, yeah, I used to work in NASA, and there was this postgraduate student. I've linked the interview down below. It's like, yeah, he thought he could do that. And I was like, oh, how naive. Now I'm like, yeah, done. Take it and go home. I'm like, aren't you guys scared of yourself? So fundamentally, now the robot can touch, meaning it can actually touch it. The object is like, hey, it's a squishy thing, meaning I have to compensate for certain expansion. Meaning if it's like a flushy toy and you squished it, you have to design, oh, the volume is this much, but I have to give some buffer space. How to fill up in the carts. That's a complex task. And again, just to improve the human working there, they're like, hey, what if you focus only on the centering, so a person can just yoink like this, rather than taking a ladder, going up, pulling out, or crawling downwards. They're improving the efficiency. So basically, they used to have a lot of issues with workers' health. Because again, this racks, it looks good, and early they try to optimize the whole rack. They're like, no, that's a bad idea. Have more racks with empty spaces on top and bottom. That would be more quick. So once this is Gen 1, so to say, this is like they got it, they are using it. I'm like, how far away you are where you go from this to actually removing that last person who is pulling things out from there. It's not that far out, not that far out. So they did that. And flat out the person says it's very fast, but again, let them be clear. If you like clock it, it's not as fast as a person or fastest person they have. It's just that this puppy works 24/7 until the service time. And people are like, what if it breaks? It's like, here's the deal. The reason why your server does not break is simply because it has redundancy. Any company building this will have redundancy, meaning how many robots do you think breaks? A lot of them. Then why does it not shut down? They are smart. They have redundancy, meaning if one goes kaput, another takes his place. That's a common sense thing. It's like, I've seen so many, it's like, what if it breaks? It's like, they plan for it. That's the first thing you do. What happens when it breaks? What do you do? It's like all these robotics could have multiple backups, multiple of them. If it's a very high priority thing, they will have multiple. If there's a low priority, at least one backup. Again, even like servers generally have a data copy in 2 places, bare minimum. And if it's a high priority, it will be 3 copies. So same happens with robotics also. All these things, they are always back, and there is a small workshop, so to say, where they're continuously servicing it also. So this is the first shot. They expanded their warehouse, as in like, we can serve more people without increasing the workforce, because this puppy can do such a thing. And this is Gen 1. Don't even think about Gen 5. So now many people will have some random BS idea. It's like, oh, this will not be affected. Let that be very clear. You only bring 2 things to the table, and we have given both of them to the machines. Both of them, your brain and your muscles, both of them. So fundamentally, art and entertainment already have AI swaps. Heck, way too many people ask me, it's like in my Hindi channel, it's like, why do I record English like this rather than just doing AI dub? I'm like, why should I dig my own grave? Second, coding, already using early, bulk work and grunt work and all that. People are like, okay, it's not that good. That's not how it works. I opened this channel 7 years ago. If that time I would have said that I could use something like AI, free freaking AI, and build something like this, and have a coding, how to run the basically ESP32 and using MOSFET drivers and all that. That code was done by ChatGPT. I do not know how to code, but it did that. And like, okay, it's not that great. Does not matter. 7 years ago, this was unimaginable. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, this was science fiction. We have it. The fact that it's not that great, it's like, no, it's not that great now. It's going in that direction. And trust me when I say this, I do have some people who are working there. Well, they have some constraint AI. It's like, no, this AI is only designed for testing. It's good. This AI only built for this framework, for this exact thing, is good. So fundamentally, and again, let that be very clear, it's not like it's done over, it's started, like, it has started. Companies are no longer expanding. Heck, I'm pretty sure you must have heard of layoff with some extra layoff with some more layoffs. Oh, and there was some more layoffs. So train has left the station. Then you have engineering. They are already using AI. They're like, hey, we designed the buildings, but we have so many security checks. Why pay an engineer or an intern to go through all that, then double check it? It's like, well, have AI go through it and then have another AI go through it. Both will be cheaper, and then have a person go through it. And the likelihood of errors skipping through all three checkpoints is very low, and you can speed up your process. Already happening. Heck, there are companies that are like, hey, why pay an engineer to design it? Have simulation design it for you. Simulation mixed with AI. Ta-da! Naturally optimized system. Happening, past tense. Supercars are being built with that. Then you have self-driving, which again, let that be very clear, self-driving will have the biggest job impact. We have no idea how many, like when people say, oh, that's not a big deal. You have no idea how many drivers are there in the world, planet-wide. Planet-wide. It's a sector of population, and I do not mean 1% of population. Giant percent of population just does that, driving it here and there. If you make that self-driving reality, it's gonna be big impact. Now again, it will not have a day night, because again, most people smoked Elon Musk and they're like, what if we remove the LiDAR? It's like, what if you don't smoke? It's like, Waymo is doing a very good job. I've linked a nice documentary out of this, like why do not have that many casualties compared to Teslas. And again, their patents will expire in 20 years, so those things will come down to other cars also. So basically 30 years from now, it will be sorted. Or again, you have no idea how many jobs will just go kaput. And delivery bots and drones are already a thing. And like, no, it's a gimmicky and all that. No, that's how it starts. Mobile phones were that. That's how it always starts. Then it becomes the norm. Then it becomes, oh, there used to be people who are getting paid for this. So that's there. Lawyers, they are already using for AI for grunt work. Why pay a lot of low-paying interns or legalese to deal with things and just have AI going through it? And again, dedicated AI is far more useful. So that's there. Healthcare. Oh, doctors are so overworked. Why not we train AI? So that is also happening. Healthcare industry already utilizing it. Advanced robotics for household work, because, well, there are too many old people and we do not want to poof them. So it's like, okay, robotics, Japan and all that stuff. And AI for management layer. I'm reasonably sure all of you know all the horror stories of that. AIs are actually responsible for many of the layoffs that are happening right now. So that's already happening. And warfare, again, Russia-Ukraine war actually turbocharged AI development for drones. Happened, past tense. As in, if you have seen the when Ukraine boomed Russia in their basically own country, they had rubber tires on wings. The reason was so easy AI can be fooled. AI was much more advanced. AI is like, nah, boom you, bruh. So happened, past tense. I'm not talking about something going to happen. I'm talking about something that did happen. And there are a few jobs that are say, people are like, what if I become plumber, or what if I do trades? Who will pay you, man? Like, think it through. Oh, I can build a house. Cool, awesome. GG, my man. You have a very unique combination of brain and brawn. Where like, I got this. Cool, awesome. Who has the money to pay you? Think about that first. Who has the money? Like, this statement is so horrifying that basically Godfather of AI, I've linked the interview down below, Elon Musk including, Elon Musk, when he was like, okay, what do you want your children? He short-circuited. He's like, Elon Musk short-circuited for 15 seconds. And the Godfather of AI is like, I do not think about it. It's like, it's too horrifying. So realistically, it's like you can delude yourself, but the fact that this sort of robotics are becoming a thing that people are just buying it, that's how smartphones started. So, and again, Boeing says like, hey, pilots have this limitation of G-force. What if we AI'd? What if we AI'd the drones? All that thing happened. So let that be very clear. Do not fall for this delulu where it's like, oh, this will be safe. Nothing would be safe. So you will go from 100,000 people being employed to few thousand being employed. That's the problem. And you do that sector-wide in every single goddamn sector. That's the horrifying part. So what's the danger of it all? Well, reality is the workers are lying to themselves. That's the horrifying part to me. That AI worker who was working in that's like, you always need workers to repair the robots. I'm like, has this guy never been to Toyota shops or something like that? It's like, fundamentally, that's a stupid thing. How can you be that dumb? And you are so smart to A, work in NASA, B, smart enough to develop this robot. It's like, you never work. The ratio is not the fix. It's like the downtime, no thing in this way. Let's say you have 10 drones and you have 10 workers to fix those drones. Of course, you're not going to get 10 drones. You're like, dude, use the 10 workers directly. So when will you buy drones? So you're like, okay, I have 10 drones, I have one worker for per 10. So you have 20, you will have two workers to repair them, service them. That's how it works. Otherwise, what's the point of automation? So what's the mathematical reason? Mathematical reason is around 200 hours of utilization should require only 1 hours of downtime. Generally, that's the average, so to say. No, and again, there are companies that are like, bro, this number is too optimistic. Other companies are like, bro, if we give our customers this sort of crappy product, they're gonna shoot us. So that is bigger. But this idea should give you context. That brain damage idea that people have is like, oh, but robots will require servicing. First, somebody, if there are so many robots, I can guarantee you somebody is working on making a robot specifically for that. Like specifically, like how there is an iPhone robot that is specifically for tearing the iPhone so it can be recycled efficiently. Same way, like that Amazon drone, they're like, yeah, we have 50,000-60,000 of that. Somebody like, sir, let me handle it. Let me build a drone for this specifically just to tear it apart and repair it and service it. I can guarantee you that will happen. So fundamentally, and that 200 to 1 hour, again, that's a ratio. That's the part that people are missing. Or most likely, willingly hiding. Their brain is willingly creating a perception filter where they're not detecting what deep grave they are digging. So, and companies will only use AI if it saves money. No company will do, oh, we are doing AI because of goodness of our heart, or we are doing R&D. No, they're going to do that because if any if you're working in any company, any country, you're only creating your own replacement. Company will not be doing that if they do not see the ability to poof the workforce, because the workforce is the expensive part. If they can poof the workforce, you're like, servers are expensive. They are free. Look into NVIDIA's most expensive servers that they are like latest and greatest. Yeah, they are free compared to workforce. That's how expensive workforce are. So fundamentally, this delusion where it's like, okay, what if we poof 100,000 jobs, but we have 100 jobs left? It's like new jobs. It's like 100 is not enough to replace that. Like we had basically labor job, then we created service sector. Now we are automating those, and every small step that we are trying to automate is removing giant section of system. Because again, once you remove the basically instead of having 3 kiosks, you have 2 automated and 1 person. Now you have removed that job. Now having a lot of drivers, Uber drivers and all that, now you have Waymos. Now you have removed that section. Now hundreds of coders, now you have removed 90 of them. Now having thousands of lawyers, now you have removed majority of them. So if you do that in every step, in every mathematical scenario, you reach a point where it's like you have created far more joblessness than you created new jobs. And there won't be new jobs simply because new jobs requires brain. AI has the brain. So it's all about the economics. That's why I said, like, once you have enough robotics, somebody's like, hey, why not build the robot to repair the robot? It is more economical. Physics, engineering, economics. Same way. Like nobody would have thought few years ago, it's like, hey, wouldn't it be nice if we had a robot specifically for iPhone that can just like, tear apart the iPhone so we can be recycled very quickly? Apple did that. Few years ago, it would have been like, again, at the beginning of iPhone, it would have been like, what cocaine you are smoking, man? But now it's like, take it and go. So fundamentally, and how this BS is being sold to public? Well, first thing, I'm going to tell you the most cruel thing in this universe. I know it's going to hurt you, and especially if you're young, it's going to be very painful. Not everybody can be Einstein. I know it's very painful to hear, but trust me, that's the reality of it. Not everybody is what we call era-defining genius. Not everyone is that. So likelihood of you being Newton or the likelihood of you being Einstein, it's low. Not zero, but close to zero, or might as well be zero. So let that be. And again, when you're talking about a country or civilization where you have millions and billions of people, yeah, and you're like, okay, what if we reduce the population? Same problem. Same problem. And again, mass production will fail, so it will have cascading failure. That's why every country that is going through population decline is like, hey, please have babies. It would be even worse nightmare. So fundamentally, yeah, and what can be safe right now? Best of the best of the best. But fundamentally, that statement, best of the best, means majority are garbage. It's like, world champions. Fundamentally means you have losers. So fundamentally, and most people won't be able to compete. Like for example, this is Boston Dynamics Robotics. If you have seen their early video, there were hydraulics. They were, when you used to jump it, the pipe used to go. But now it's like, yeah, we tried that. It's not that efficient. So now we are utilizing basically motors. We good. This exists, and you're like, it's expensive. This exists. If I have shared, if I showed this in any TV show back in 2000, people were like, whoa, nice CG, man, great CG, man, it looks so realistic, man. People would not be able to digest that this is a thing. Like if you compare this to Asumo that was released in the same year, like year 2000 by Honda. Like this is like, bruh, this is horrifyingly good. Like this is good. So Fundamentally, the fact that we are so comfortably removing so many people, and again, there is another aspect of job and work brings you dignity, less dignity, but dignity nonetheless. So even if you have some sort of basically universal basic income, it's still not a very clear solution. And the most horrifying part is like that he was so happy. He's like, no, the robots will break and we're gonna. It's like, bro, of course robots will break. The Mark 1 product will break all the time, but by the time it's Mark 10, it will rarely break. And by the time it's Mark 20, there will be another robot to repair it. And it would be like, for 50,000 robots, we have 500 repair robots. And to handle those 500 repair, then we have like top GG, like people so rich there, we have to fly them on private jets, like, top engineers. But there will be only 50. And you would have removed 100,000 jobs. That's the scary part. That ratio, somehow people are not getting that ratio. Everybody cannot be Einstein. I'm sorry. You cannot just take it, oh, you are flipping burgers. Here's the quantum physics. Become quantum physicist. So fundamentally, that self-lying part started to horrify me. And he was so happy about it. I'm like, bro, you worked at NASA. You should be good with math. And I think they are bad with people math. But such is life. So this was my presentation on basically the jobless environment that we are actually entering now. Hopefully you have liked it, learn from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free. And as always, thanks for watching.